A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 7th subject science chapter number 10, that is respiration in organisms. This is your lecture number 2. In today's video we are going to cover some topics. So the topics to be covered are, so the first topic that we are going to cover in this chapter, that is breathing. What is the breathing process? Second topic is why do we sneeze? And the third topic is the mechanism of breathing in human being. Fourth one is what do we breathe out? And the fifth one is the breathing in other organisms. Respiration in plants. So let us begin this lecture with the first topic, that is breathing. So the breathing can be defined as a process in which organisms, with the help of their respiratory organs, take in the oxygen air present in the surrounding and release out the air that contain high amount of carbon dioxide in it. So basically, breathing is the essential for all the living beings. When we breathe, we take in the oxygen and give out the carbon dioxide during the exhalation. Okay, this is the breathing process. Breathing, it requires two processes. So the first process in breathing is inhalation. Inhalation is the process of taking the air that contains oxygen inside the body. Next is exhalation. Exhalation is the process of releasing out air that contains carbon dioxide out of the body. Inhalation and exhalation takes place alternatively in the breathing process. In this picture you can see the breathing process, inhalation and exhalation. In inhalation, it refers to taking in of air from the atmosphere. Okay, when it takes the air from the atmosphere, their ribs moves up or outward in direction. If the ribs moves up, so the diaphragm moves down, so your diaphragm gets contract. Okay, and the space in the chest cavity, that will be increased during inhalation, and this air rushes into the lungs. So lungs get filled with the air in inhalation process. First, when you take the air from the atmosphere, your chest expands and your ribs moves up and outward in direction, and the diaphragm moves down. Okay, or diaphragm gets contract. After that, this air rushes into the lungs and lungs get filled with the air. Next, in the exhalation process, it refers to giving out the air from the lungs. So here the ribs moves down and in inward position. Okay, and your diaphragm moves up to the original curved position, or your diaphragm get relaxed during exhalation. Okay, and the space in the chest cavity get decreases and this air is pushed out to the lungs. Okay, pushed out from the lungs, and this lungs reduces in size as the air goes out. Okay, this is the breathing process in human body. In the next topic, that is why do we sneeze? So as we inhale the air present in the surrounding, sometimes the various unwanted elements such as smoke and dust, pollens are also included in it. Okay, so however, they get stuck in the hair in a nostril, but some of them can get through the nasal cavity. So in sneezing happens when some irritation occur in the nasal passage or in the nostrils. It could be due to the dust, pollen or smoke. So it's a spontaneous response, okay, and takes place without one's control. It is also a response of the body to expel the unwanted particles in the inhaled air. Since a sneeze can throw the particle a far distance, so it is advised to always cover the nose and mouth while sneezing. Okay. Yeah, and they thus cause irritation in the nasal cavity, which make us sneeze. Next is, how do we breathe? So this is the breathing process, or we can say the respiratory organ in human body. As you can see, the first part is the nasal cavity, second is the nostril that is present. This is the oral cavity. From your food goes down into your esophagus, then the pharynx, this is the larynx, here the trachea from the air passed, this is the right main bronchia, this is the left main bronchus, this is right lung, this is left lung, and this is the diaphragm here. So when we breathe in, the air enters through your nostrils, okay, and then passes through the windpipe and reaches our lungs. Just the reverse happens when we breathe out. The air from our lungs, it passes through our windpipe and come out through a nostril. So the passage of the air in human respiratory system during inhalation is, first is the air goes from the nostril, then the nasal cavity, then it goes to pharynx, then larynx, then trachea, this is the trachea, or we can say it's a windpipe, then it goes to the bronchi, and then at last it goes to lungs. Okay. Next is about the passage of the air in human respiratory system. So first is the nostril. Air goes into the nostril, then it goes to the nasal cavity, pharynx, then trachea, and it goes to bronchi, at last it goes to lungs. Okay, this is the passage of air in human respiratory system in human body. Next is, what do we breathe out? During the exhalation process, the 4 to 5% carbon dioxide is exhaled, or we can say the exhaled air is rich in the carbon dioxide during exhalation. The composition of exhaled air in the exhalation process is, the carbon dioxide percentage is 4 to 5%, and the oxygen is 17 to 80%, 74.9, or we can say that the 75% is inert nitrogen gas and 6.2% is water during exhalation. Next, in the breathing process, inhaled air is rich in oxygen. So the composition of inhaled air in oxygen is 21%, carbon dioxide is 0.04%, and nitrogen is 78%, and the water content is 0.5% during the inhalation. So this is the composition of inhaled air, this is the composition of in exhalation. Okay, moving on the next topic, that is breathing in other organisms. So human beings have the lungs as the breathing organs. Just like human beings, many animals like elephant, lion, cows, dogs, frogs, okay, but there are many organisms which do not have lungs. So they have the different type of breathing organs, like cockroach have the tracheal system, earthworm have the special skin, and many aquatic animals like fish have the gills. So we are going to study about the breathing in cockroach. So many insects like cockroaches have the small opening called the spiracles that is present on the side of the bodies. So also they have an air tube like structure called the trachea that allows the exchange of the gases in these insects. They have the tube like structures called trachea that allows the exchange of the gases in these insects. The air enters the body through the spiracles and diffuse in the cell via the trachea. So Similarly, the air from the cell enters the trachea and moves out of the body through the spiracles. So as you can see in this picture, this is the respiratory system of cockroach. So cockroach have the tracheal system. Okay, cockroach and other insects have the special system of air tubes called as tracheal tubes. So the other insects have the special system of air tubes called the tracheal tubes. So this is, as you can see in this line here, this is the tracheal tube system. Okay, for the breathing purpose. They have the small opening called as spiracles. These are the small opening here. So these are spiracles, okay, on the side of their body. So spiracles are internally connected to a network of air tube called as trachea, okay, which spread through the wall body. So the oxygen rich air enters through the spiracles into the network of the tracheal tubes, and through this network the air reaches all the cell of the body, and in the cell the oxygen diffuses into the cell, okay, and simultaneously the carbon dioxide diffuses out into the tracheal tube, okay, which finally leaves through the spiracles. Firstly, the air rich oxygen goes to the spiracles, then it goes to trachea, then it goes to tracheal tubes, and then it goes to all the body cell. Okay, this is the respiratory system of cockroach. Moving on the next topic, that is breathing in earthworm. So earthworm do not have any special breathing organs, so their entire skin act as a breathing organ for the exchange of gases. So hence the gases can easily pass in and out of the earthworm through its skin. So as you can see in this picture, in the earthworm have a very thin, moist and the slimy skin through which the exchange of gases takes place. Okay, so the oxygen that diffuse in and the carbon dioxide that diffuse out through the moist skin. This is the moist skin of the earthworm. So this oxygen diffuse in and the carbon dioxide diffuse out through this skin. Okay. Next, moving on the next topic, that is breathing in fish. So animals that live underwater have the special respiratory organs called as gills. Okay. Fishes have the gills. So fish are the aquatic animals and have the special structure called gills for the breathing in water. They are comb-like structure present on the skin of these animals, and gills allows the exchange of gases between animals and water easily. Some animals called the amphibians can breathe on the land by lungs and through the moist skin under water. For example, frogs and toads. As you can see in this picture, the breathing process in fish. Fish are the aquatic animals and have the special structure called as gills. So these are the gills that you can see here through the skin. Okay. So gills are the thin leaf-like projection present on both the side of the body. So they are richly supplied with blood vessels for the exchange of gases. When the water passes over the gills, this water goes in and it passes over the gills, and the dissolved oxygen from the water diffuses into the blood. Okay, and then the carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses out into the water. First, water in the mouth, it goes into the gills. So gills helps in the exchange of gases and the water out from the blood. Okay. Next, moving on the next topic, that is respiration in plants. As we all know that the plants also respire, they take in the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere and use it in the process of photosynthesis, okay, to produce the food. So as a result of photosynthesis in plants, they release out the oxygen in the environment. So as you can see in this picture, the respiration in plants differ from the animal in a way that in plants there are no specific organs for the breathing, and each parts like the stem, leaf, root, they respire independently. Okay, and the exchange of gases in plants occur by the diffusion of gases. So the first is about the lenticels or exchange of gases in stem. So the woody stem of the plant also respire. This is because of the presence of special tissues called as lenticels. So this is the picture in the lenticels on the bark of trees. These are the lenticels that is present here. So these are the tissue in the woody stem of the plants. They respire through the lenticels. Okay, in stem, the exchange of gases in the stems occurs through the small opening, okay, on the surface of the stem. These are called as lenticel. Lenticel are group of loosely packed, thin-walled dead cell with air spaces in between, and these air spaces, through these space reaches the living cell present beneath. Okay, so stem take in oxygen and give out the carbon dioxide through the lenticels. Okay, next is about the respiration in leaves through the stomata. So leaves have the many tiny pores present called as stomata. So these stomata present on the surface of the leaves for the exchange of gases. So the carbon dioxide enters and the water and oxygen exist through the leaf, that is from the stomata. Okay, so this oxygen goes out and this carbon dioxide goes in through the stomata. So this is the respiration in leaves through the stomata. Next is about the why the plants can die if overwatered. We know that the roots get oxygen from the soil. So if we overwater the plants, the space between the soil particles get clogged. Okay, as a result the roots will not able to get enough air and the plant can die. So in this picture you can see here how the exchange of gases in plants occur by diffusion of gases through the roots. So roots are present in the soil, so they have their roots here. So these are the root here, okay, that take in the oxygen from the air spaces that is present in between the soil particles, and the oxygen from the air spaces diffused in and the carbon dioxide diffused out from the root hairs. Okay, this oxygen from the air spaces diffused in, okay, diffused in, and the carbon dioxide diffused out by the root hairs. Okay, next is about the homework solution of lecture number 1. So the first question, what is respiration? The process of release of energy by breaking down of the food in the cell is known as respiration, or the respiration takes place in the cell organelles called as mitochondria. Okay, as you can see here, a cell, we have already learned that all the living things are made up of the cell, and cell perform a different function. Okay, to perform all these functions a cell needs the energy. So a cell gets its energy by breaking down the food that is present in it, and the process of releasing of energy by breaking down the food in the cell is called respiration. This breaking down of food in the presence of oxygen, and the energy is released, and the byproduct is the carbon dioxide and water. This is about the respiration process. Okay, so respiration, the oxygen that is needed is taken in by the breathing. This oxygen is needed to taken by the breathing process. Okay, next is about the type of respiration. There are the two type of respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, when the breakdown of food occurs with the use of oxygen in the presence of oxygen, is called aerobic respiration, and the anaerobic respiration, when the breakdown of food occur without the use of oxygen, is, or in the absence of oxygen, is anaerobic respiration. Here in the aerobic respiration, glucose is completely oxidized. In anaerobic respiration, glucose is broken down incompletely, and the end product are carbon dioxide and water in aerobic respiration, and the end product in anaerobic respiration is alcohol and carbon dioxide, okay, or in lactic acid in human being in anaerobic respiration. More energy is produced in aerobic respiration, less energy is produced in anaerobic respiration. The example of aerobic respiration occur in most of the plants and animals. In anaerobic respiration, it occurs in few organisms like yeast, some bacteria and some parasitic worms. Next is the question number 3rd, that is anaerobic respiration in human being. Sometimes the muscles of human beings can respire without the oxygen. Okay, so this generally happens when we undergo a heavily exercise such as running, weightlifting, cycling or walking for a longer duration. During the heavy exercise, running and gymnastic, our muscles start aching because they start respiring anaerobically, okay, as the demand for the oxygen become much more. So in such situation, the muscles require more energy and supply of oxygen is not enough. Then hence anaerobic respiration takes place in the muscles. Okay. Next is about the homework of this lecture number 2nd. So the first question is respiration in plants. Question number 2nd is how do we breathe? Third question is define the two processes of breathing, inhalation and exhalation. Okay. So this is it about this video. Hope you have understood this video. Thank you and have a nice day.